Hi guys and girls, welcome to the Trims by Beck YouTube channel. So I originally wanted to do lots of vlogging of trimming my car's interior, the VC, but I've had to put that on hold to get some other things done, and I thought, well, Cody and I have been working on his VL and lots of people have VLs, so I thought, why don't I show you guys how to install a headlining in a VL, and hopefully it's pretty easy for you guys to follow along and you can install one yourself. So I'm going to run you through it. I've already patterned and sewn up the headlining, but you can buy them already sewn up, and some trimmers do have patterns. I know we do, so if you wanted one sewn up and sent out to you and you can have a go yourself, then we can help you with that also. So yeah, stay tuned and you'll learn a few tips and tricks. So it's quite important to keep these little bow retainers. You want to make sure that they're all back in the roof and not stuck on the bows, or if you've lost them. I am going to stick some sound deadening up here, and I'm also, this front bow here, as you can see, it doesn't have any support like the others. They have these little hooks that they go into. So for this front bow, I'm going to raise up the sound deadening. I'm going to draw a line on the roof and I'm going to raise up either side. So that's going to have a little channel to sit in so that it's not going to fall forward or fall back over time. Another important thing is, see these little bumps of the old foam down here? I'm going to sand those off, because if you just go straight over it, you're going to see that. I don't know if you can see here. You're going to see the imperfections through the new trim. I might put some 4mm foam over it too. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, both of these front pillars need to be neatened up. I'm also going to go and clean everywhere with wax and grease remover, where I'm going to be brushing on my glue, and then I'll come and show you guys once I've done that. So I am using spray contact adhesive, which I buy in a drum and just put into my spray can, and then obviously I have an airline. So if you don't have this available to you, you can buy them in little cans, like aerosol cans, pressure packs, from, I'm pretty sure Bunnings sell them, and there are some trim supply stores that sell to the general public. I know in Canberra there's one called ACT Foam and Rubber, so you can buy the spray adhesive in a can, so that's quite good instead of buying like a whole 20-litre drum that you would never use, and it's quite expensive too. So you can also buy it, I have bought it from Bunnings before in like a little, like a paint tin that's thicker that you can use to paintbrush on, so you can just paintbrush it all. I will be using a paintbrush when I'm going around the door jambs and around the window edges. But yeah, that's just so you guys know what glue I'm using. But it is very, very toxic. So I like to use a respirator when I'm gluing inside a car because I just want to save my lungs. I do this every day and like I don't want to get sick. But anyways, you can watch me do some gluing. Safety first. I did use a glue board to catch any overspray because you don't want that going on the paint or the windows or the dash or anything like that. So now I'm going to go glue up my underlay that I'm using. You can also use the sound deadening mat with the foam, which is way easier. You don't have to spray glue like this, but I don't have any, and we just decided that we're going to put the headlining in right now, so that's why I'm just gluing this up. But you can get it from Low Fabrications, are a stockist of what's their brand called again? Car Builders, not Dynamite. Car Builders. And if you really wanted to, you could use the Car Builders, the aluminium one with like the tar backing, and that will really keep the heat from coming into the car. But yeah, that's not. So now I've glued my underlay here, and I'm going to stick it up on the roof and fold it in half. Find my center here, touch it in the middle, and then we're going to go stick that up there. You can see we've got our sound deadener underlay up on the roof, and we've got a little gap for that rod. I might need to add another thickness for it to be really supported. And then you're going to want to bend all your hooks, well, straighten them, sorry, a little bit so you can get the rod in there. So I just go around and carefully straighten them. Just be careful not to snap them off, because if you do that, you're going to have not a nice time. See how bent up that one is? I'm gonna, sorry, straighten him a little bit. I might trim this actually a little bit more so we can get that rod up in there. But these back ones, you're gonna want to straighten them out a little. Like that. So I test fitted the bow in, and I wanted a bit more support for it to not fold forward, so I glued some foam in there, and I just cut at an angle so we're not going to have a bulky edge seen underneath the headlining. So the listing is going to go around this wire, and it's going to bring it down a little bit, so it should float over this and be wrapped around here if all goes to plan. So now I'm going to paintbrush glue on this place all around here, because I want to stick first onto here, and then I want to cut about 10 mil of the material to fold around and glue onto the other side, because I don't want to be cutting down, and it's really hard to get into here when the rear door is open. I don't want to be trying to get my knife in there at that angle. That's just not the vibe. And then you want a really nice neat cut. You don't want to scratch the paint, all of that. So also going to paintbrush down here. I decided not to foam here. And then these edges all the way around, I'm going to paintbrush. Sorry, I'm trying to get this angle right. I'm going to paintbrush glue all the way around here, the front window, and around the rear window. So I'm going to paintbrush glue, comes to around here, all the way along there. We're going to paintbrush around here and all down here. Same on this side. And all around here, all the way down to about there, and here all the way around to about there on both sides. So I'm going to do that and then come back. So I've paintbrushed glue on all my edges, and I also test fit in the first bow. So now that fits nicely, I'm going to lay the headlining out, and I'm going to put the bows in. They're marked front to back, so I'm going to put them in their right spot. So if you haven't marked your bows when you pulled them out of the car, then I suggest test fitting them in the car, because sometimes they're a different angle to the roof or a different length. So I'm going to do that, put the bows in, then I'm going to glue it up out of the car, because I'm going to use the spray gun, and then let it get tacky, and then I'm going to bring it into the car. But if you don't have a spray gun and you're using the paintbrush glue method, you can just bring it in, put it in, and then paintbrush around the edges that are overhanging, instead of trying to work out where to do it out of the car. Okay, so I've glued up the headlining out of the car. I've put my bows in. The headlining is going tacky as we speak. So now I've got some clips for the front and the back, and I've got some tools that I'm going to use. So we've got sharp scissors, a flat blade screwdriver, a little hammer, and I've got my little surgery knife. So when I put the bows in, I'm going to start at the back and I'm going to make a little slit for each of those little metal prongs that we straightened out before. So then when I hammer it around the rod, it's not going to pinch the listing that holds the wire in and have a high spot in the headlining. So sometimes when you look in the headlinings, you can see it's not just a nice straight line, you can see it pinching up for all of these little tabs. So by cutting the listing just enough to fit it, and you've got to be really close to the listing rod so that it's tight and not like floating in the listing, so it's not pulling, so it's going to be even pressure among all of them. So I'm going to start from the back and then do the back one, and I'll set you guys up so you can watch how I'm going to do it. Okay, you guys can see that now. See how it's just the little prong coming out there, and I hammered him up. So now, get my knife again, carefully this time. I'm going to pull so we don't have any bunched up here. And then I'm going to get the listing right, the wire to the end. See, the prong is here, so I'm going to stab him just there, so that that prong is going to go through and not pinch our listing. And then I'll give him a little tap and bend that tip up. Perfect. And then continue. I always want to start in the middle and pull and work your way out, so it pulls all the fullness out. So I'm going to give it a little jiggle. I've got my wire. Turn you over here so you can see. So I've jiggled, pulling the material nice and tight out. I've got my wire right at the top of the listing there. I'm going to give him a little stab here, and then we're going to tuck that in there, make sure there's no pinching, and then get our hammer and little tap, bend that up. Alright, now I'm going to do the other side. Whoa. Sorry if I gave you whiplash there. And you want to be careful you don't cut your headlining while you're doing this. I would cry. So I'm jiggling him out, pulling it nice and tight, getting it, the wire to the bottom of our listing, I should say top of the listing, little slit, and then we're going to tuck him, tuck him in there. the hammer, hammer that up there. So that's not going anywhere. So now we're going to work our way forward and repeat and do the same with all of them. Alrighty guys, so I've put all the wires in their little holdy doodads, hammered them up nice and tight. So I've clipped in the middle at the front and I've clipped in the middle at the back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my heat gun and I'm going to warm up the vinyl so it's nice and stretchy, and I'm going to pull the sides and stick the sides. So I'm going to start probably in the middle and work my way out and then out, out, then out. All of the bows I'm going to pull either side and get them nice and tight and stick them to the edges. Then I can finish the front and the back by pulling them all tight. So I will set that up again in a time lapse and you can see how I do it. So I thought you can watch me stick the other side in real time, and I can answer some questions that I put on my story a while ago. So one question that was really good was, how did you find out about trimming and get into it? So, oh my god, that was like 15 years ago, nearly 16 years ago now. So my friend had a tow truck company and he did a lot of tows for a place in Victoria, in Moorabbin, that did a lot of new car leather. So like they would pick up the car from the dealership, drop it at the trimmers, and then the trimmer would put leather in it and then he'd pick it up again. And I loved cars. I always have loved cars, and I just struggled in office jobs, concentrating, and yeah, it was just boring. And yeah, so he was like, oh, why don't you go and see if you could do that? Because I wanted to be a spray painter, as I love watching paint get sprayed. But I hate sandpaper. Touching sandpaper is like ick. I don't know, like the texture, I hate it, hate it. So I was like, well, that's not gonna work because that's such a huge part of the job. So I went to the repair center side, which did a lot of like resto and did some HSVs and like insurance repairs and stuff like that. So I went there and I just said, look, I have no experience, but I really like sewing. I want a job where I can be creative, and I love cars, and I grew up working on cars in the garage with my dad, and I had a VZ SV6 at the time, and I was always getting defected for being too low. And so I learned how to change my own springs, well, not the front ones because they used to scare me, the struts. But I could change the rears, and I could take the exhaust on and off, and I could change my own oil and stuff like that. And I just told him, like, I just know basics of like how to use tools. And he was like, all right, well, why don't we put you on a 2-week trial, and then you can see if it's something you want to do. So I did the 2-week trial, and I swear I felt like they were trying to make me hate it so bad. They were like, all right, rearrange all the fabric rolls. They had like, the business had been going for so long. It'd been passed down through generations. So they had years and years and years and years of all old materials. And like seat trim covers that they've kept in boxes. Like they had GDS Coulson's, brand new from factory, the cloth GDS, VX GDS material that you just can't find these days. But they had that like brand new in boxes, and I had to sort through all of that stuff. And then I was just doing, there was a Porsche that had been flood damaged, and I'd never pulled a car apart inside before, and he was like, all right, see that Porsche there? Okay, you're going to pull everything out of it, even the carpet, the underlay, everything. We've got to get it down to the wires, we've got to dry it out, and then we've got to put new underlay in, and then put the carpet back in once it's dried. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I was just thrown in the deep end, and after those 2 weeks they offered me an apprenticeship, so I passed. And yeah, it was good. It was a really good place to work because, like, for example, when I first went there, like the first few months that I was there, we had Lambos, we had Ferraris, we had Porsches. There was a Prestige dealership down the road that got broken into, and because they had a really good, like, had bollards and security system, and so the thieves weren't able to take the cars, so instead they slashed heaps of seats in the cars. So then we had to fix them. I didn't do those jobs, but the other trimmer did that. But yeah, that was how I got into it. Okay, this is how we're looking. It's getting there. Turn this around. So I just need to trim in here because that's where the rear pillar covers go. You can see it's pulled nice and tight. There's no wrinkles anywhere. I've just got to go around now and trim off all the excess. I've got to finish going around these corners. But I'm going to go and have some lunch and then come back and finish. How cool is the screen? This is the naughty button. And that's green. I just told Cody to come in and have a look. Waiting for him to come see. What do you think? Ooh.
It's pretty good upside down.
Hey Jojo!
Sniffy.
Jojo, come see! Come look! Come see what Mama done. Look up here. Yeah, Mama did the roof. Oh, look at your knee. Don't touch that, that's hot.
Why?
Do you like the roof?
Wolf.
Roof?
Very good, very nice.
Look how nice and straight the lines are up here.
Very good, very nice.
Cheese!
Oh, this is mistake.
Yeah, that's Dodo.
That what? That pizza.
That's Dodo. Good?
Cheese.
Can you see Mama? So you want to cut around so that you can't see any material through the window here. So we've got a little hole here for the pillar to go on. I've just got to cut the other one, which is there. And this is the final product. We're going to put the pinch welds on and cut these and put the light in. Let's see how we have no pinching where our little tabs are. Yeah, hopefully that wasn't too hard for you guys to follow along with, but the main points are measure your center and stick your centers first, and then pull out on each sewn bow and stick that end, and then stick that end, and then do the next one, and then pull the rest tight back to front. And then you want to get out all the wrinkles and stuff, but don't pull it too tight, because you've got to remember the pinch welds have to go on and the screens have to go in that have the rubber around. But yeah, give it a go and let me know in the comments how you went, or if you need any other tips. But thanks for watching.